Welcome back to the True Tomorrows podcast. I'm Adrian Smith, and I'm so glad you could join us for another deep dive into the strange side of tech.
I'm Julia Jones. I'm here to help us all figure out what's sci-fi and what might actually be in our future.
So if you're into all the crazy possibilities of technology and the weird twists and turns it could take, well, you're in the right place.
Yeah, we're kind of like your guides to the edge of, the edge of everything, where, science fiction bumps right into science fact, and sometimes things get a little dark.
And a little weird.
Oh, yeah, definitely weird.
If you want to keep exploring these mind-bending questions about the future of tech with us every day, make sure you rate and follow the show.
Definitely. All right, ready for today?
Oh, I am so ready.
Okay, so imagine a world, right, where superpowers are real, but instead of saving the world, these superpowered people are on the run from the very people who gave them those powers.
That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, it's the world of Project Prometheus, and let me tell you, it is a wild ride.
It really makes you think about the whole thing with genetic engineering and how far is too far? Could we actually make super soldiers?
Right, and if we could, what would happen? Would it be all good?
I mean, this story really digs into those ethical questions. Are we really ready to mess with human genetics like that? What if we create something we can't control?
Okay, so in Project Prometheus, we meet these teenagers, Kai, Anya, Theo, and Maya.
And they're not your average teenagers.
Definitely not. They've been changed, genetically modified to have superpowers.
Yeah, we're talking super strength, moving things with their minds, even messing with light and creating illusions. It's crazy.
But instead of being heroes, they're hiding from the government that made them.
Because they're too dangerous, right?
Yeah, basically living weapons that are now considered a threat.
And they try to blend in, right? Try to live normal lives.
But their powers keep showing up.
Yeah. Anya's skin changes color with her emotions. Theo accidentally causes a blackout when his powers surge.
And Maya, she manipulates people without even realizing it.
It makes you wonder, can we ever really control what technology does? Even when we try to hide it, will there always be signs, clues?
It's think about CRISPR technology. It's amazing. It's changing how we edit genes, but there are ethical problems too, right? What if we make changes that we can't undo?
Or what if those changes have side effects that we don't see right away but affect future generations?
Exactly. It's like a chain reaction we can't stop.
And Project Prometheus, it's like a warning sign for all the what-ifs of our own technology,
Yeah.
AI is getting so powerful, genetic engineering is becoming more and more possible.
Things are moving fast, that's for sure.
It's fast.
Maybe. This story just reminds us to really think about the technology we're making, the choices we're making today.
About what kind of future we're making.
Exactly.
Okay, so it gets even crazier. The teens, they get contacted by aliens.
Aliens. Yeah, and the aliens warn them about an attack on Earth.
They're like, hey, we know what it's like to be hunted for your powers. Let's team up.
Wow, so who do you trust? Your own government or aliens?
That's a tough one. It's like that saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But with all the technology we have now, who's really the enemy? It's hard to know.
Especially with all the cyber warfare going on. It's imagine a future where AI can create fake videos that can fool anyone.
Deepfakes, yeah, I've seen those. Scary stuff.
Or think about cyber attacks that can shut down power grids and hospitals.
Project Prometheus makes you think about all that. What if that stuff really happens?
And then, get this, the aliens drop a bombshell. They're not here to conquer Earth.
What?
They're refugees. Their planet was destroyed by their own version of super soldiers.
No way.
Now they need a new home.
It's like the refugee crisis we see today, but on a massive scale.
It really makes you think, what if climate change or some other disaster forces us to leave Earth?
Where would we go?
That's the question, isn't it?
So these teens, they have a huge choice to make. Stay and fight a government that sees them as weapons, or trust these alien refugees who say they understand what they're going through.
It's not about being a hero, it's about survival.
Yeah, they choose the aliens, not because it's the right thing to do, but because it's their only option.
It makes you think, in a world with so much technology, are we really in control?
Or is technology controlling us?
Big questions, right?
Okay, so that was a lot to unpack. Project Prometheus is intense. But it really makes you think about the role of technology in our lives.
And about the future we're creating.
Are we headed for a world where technology is in charge?
Or can we use it for good? What do you think?
Let's hear what our listeners think. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, because the future isn't set in stone. It's up to us to decide what it looks like.
Absolutely. So while you're thinking about that, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in a minute to talk about, to talk about what all of this means for us right here, right now.
Stay with us.
So they're stuck. You know, these teens made into weapons, and then they got to pick between two options that both kind of suck. It's like the story saying good and bad, maybe they're not so clear-cut.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the story shows what they're going through. They're not like typical heroes, you know? It's not about doing the right thing, it's about surviving.
It's like they took that whole superhero thing and turned it upside down. You'd think these kids with amazing powers would be out saving the world, but they're just trying to, stay alive.
Exactly. And it makes you think, what does being responsible even mean when you're in a situation like that? Like, someone else messed with them, changed them. How much control do they really have?
Okay, let's talk about this whole alien refugee thing. It's pretty intense, especially when you think about what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah, right. We've got climate change, not enough resources, political stuff happening, all kinds of things, forcing people to leave their homes. Now imagine technology makes it even worse. Like, what if whole civilizations have to abandon their planets because of some kind of tech disaster?
That's kind of scary to think about. It makes you wonder, are we ready for something like that? Are we even thinking about what our technology could do, not just here on Earth, but out there in space?
That's a good point. I mean, this story doesn't really give us answers, but it definitely brings up some big questions about, how we use technology, how we treat each other, what happens when things go wrong.
So, in Project Prometheus, they decide to go with the aliens. Not because it's the right thing, but because it's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, they're desperate. They're choosing something unknown instead of something they already know is dangerous. They're hoping to survive, maybe even find a place where they fit in.
And that ending, it's hopeful, but it's also sad. It's like, even when everything is messed up, even when you don't know what's going to happen, there's still hope that you can connect with someone, find people who get you. Okay, so we've talked about genetic engineering, super soldiers, aliens. It's been a lot. But what does it all mean for us, like in the real world?
This Project Prometheus story, it's not just science fiction. It's like it's showing us our own worries, our own hopes about the future. It's like a reminder that what we do today, the technology we make, how we treat each other, it all matters.
Yeah, we need to be more aware. Think about what could happen, not just the good stuff, but the bad stuff too. And we got to think about the big picture, not just what's happening here, but what could happen everywhere, even in space.
Absolutely. So what do you think? What really stood out to you from Project Prometheus?
I think what really got me was this idea that even when everything's falling apart, even when things are really tough, you can still find hope by connecting with other people, finding people who understand you, accept you.
That's a powerful message, for sure. Even though we talk about some pretty dark stuff on this show, we really want you, the listener, to think about the future, to talk about these things, and to make good choices that help shape the world we're all going to live in.
Yeah, it's not like the future's already decided.
Yeah.
We get to help create it.
Exactly. So keep thinking about that. And if you want to keep exploring these crazy ideas about technology, come back tomorrow for another episode of the True Tomorrows podcast.
We'll be here talking about all the strange and surprising things that technology is doing to our world. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay ahead of the game. Makes you think, like we're so busy with the cool stuff, the new gadgets, we forget to ask, what if this goes wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always think about progress, like moving forward, always getting better. But this Project Prometheus thing, it's like a reminder that it's not always like that,
Right. It's not always a straight line. It's more like a winding road, unexpected turns, dead ends. Who knows what's around the corner?
It's a good way to think about it. And even when we think we're in control of technology, sometimes, it just does its own thing.
Yeah, like think about the internet. It was supposed to be for researchers to share information, but look at it now.
Totally changed the world, connected us in ways we never thought of.
But it also brought a lot of problems, right? Cybercrime, all the fake news.
And that's what this Imagine a World is all about, right? What if we go too far? What if trying to be so advanced, so smart, well, what if it backfires?
Project Prometheus really makes you face that question. It's not just good guys and bad guys. It's more complicated than that.
Yeah, it's about those gray areas, the tough choices, the stuff we didn't see coming, even when we're trying to do the right thing.
And it makes us think about what we're doing today. Are we being careful with all this powerful technology? Are we thinking about what could happen, not just to us, but to everyone, to the whole future?
This story doesn't give easy answers, But it definitely reminds us that we got to talk about these things, think about what we're doing, and think about what might happen way down the line.
It's like we're all in this big experiment, and the future is, well, it's the lab. And everything we do, every choice we make, it all affects what happens.
So as we finish up today, think about this. What if we started thinking about technology a little differently? Like, what if we were a little humble, aware that it can be good and bad, and really committed to using it the right way?
What kind of future could we make if we did that? Something to think about.
And if you want to keep talking about these big questions about technology, join us again tomorrow for another episode of the True Tomorrows podcast.
We'll be back with a new Imagine a World, ready to explore all the strange, surprising, and sometimes, a little scary stuff that technology brings. And until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Remember, we're not just passengers on this ride. We're the ones building the future.
Thanks for listening.